Yeah, I
No
can see
back
you.
anymore.
All right, everyone.
Should have left.
Welcome to the MMA Outsiders Live. We're here with Andrew Pearson, Andrew Richardson, and a big C.
Big C. I'm gonna figure this out.
Case. I know Case can use his camera because he's video chatted with me before, just on his personal time.
And he's the most technically proficient of the three of us. But
That's very funny.
I know, right? It's just telling me camera not working. It's a laptop web camera. What the fuck? I don't know. We can continue. I'll work on it on the side when y'all are talking.
So yeah, Case needs to work on his webcam skills, but yeah. So we got UFC 224 coming up tomorrow. We had Kelvin Gastelum, Mackenzie Dern, and John Lineker. So you knew there was going to be some weight missing drama, and Dern ended up coming in the champion, 7 pounds overweight, which really surprised me only because I thought she was already fighting at flyweight.
Well, so did she.
Why isn't she? I don't understand. Like she's missed weight before. Like before the UFC, she missed weight by a lot.
I mean,
squish him.
Now this comes on the heels of her getting asked to leave the MMA lab because I guess she was splitting her time between there and California, and I guess they weren't happy with how much time she was putting in. So it kind of makes you wonder how her career is going to go with some weight cutting trouble this early. And she's not that lean, is all I'm saying. Like, just go up to flyweight if you're going to have trouble cutting down.
Yeah.
Not that lean is being really polite about it, if we're being honest. Like, she could lose 10 pounds of not water and make the weight easy if she was committed.
It's true.
And even aside from that, dude, in my experience at least, it's really hard to get kicked out of MMA gyms. Like, you have to do something either, like, very stupid, which doesn't seem to be the case. She didn't, like, get in trouble with the law, or you have to just not show up at all. So, seems like that's the case, from an outside perspective, at least, until some backstory comes up. That's pretty much what you have to assume.
Until new shit comes to light.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It could still be awkward with her ex-boyfriend being one of the jiu-jitsu coaches.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Augusto Mendez? Yeah.
That's her ex-boyfriend?
Yep, Tanquinho. They were dating for a long time before she started dating Buchecha.
She's dating Buchecha?
Yep.
Dude.
This is the kind of stuff I remember. This is called the MMA Outsiders podcast. I don't know all this weird.
This is the Jiu-Jitsu Insiders coming in hot for you. I mean, I'm not keeping super update, but I mean, as of last info, Buchecha, if you follow his Instagram, they were dating, but maybe that changed. But yeah, she was dating Augusto Mendez for like 4 years. And like when I was at the lab a couple of years ago, they were both there. He opened up his own gym there, I believe, not long after that. But he still trains with the MMA team because that's the best MMA team in Phoenix by far.
Oh, yeah.
So, 100%. I mean, it would be really weird for him to leave considering he's a top 15 flyweight, right?
Bantam, I think, but
Bantam. Yeah. I mean, I was somewhere in there. He hasn't fought for like a year, so I mean, I could be. Yeah. I think he got injured, right? He's hurt.
Dude, I can't keep up. I can't keep up with injuries or jiu-jitsu dating politics. So,
yeah, see, I came in hot with that hot info, but yeah, I'm not saying it definitely played a part, but it's possible.
I mean, there's rumors that's why Luke Rockhold left San Jose.
What? I heard. And then Cormier broke up?
No, dude, never. But then people say it's because he broke up with Demi Lovato, and that's why he had to get out of California, because that's what I hear. I don't know if that's true.
Is she training at the AKA?
No, but she has wealth, and she's reportedly a little crazy, and they dated. So, sometimes you just got to abandon the whole coast.
Maybe. I have no idea. I can't explain that one. That one just seems.
I don't know anything.
All this is very off-brand for the MMA Outsiders.
No, this is very on-brand. This is the outside details you want.
I wish I had them.
See.
So, I mean, talking about like women that we will never date.
Yeah, I'm about to be married over here, guys.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I don't want Mackenzie Dern to lose weight, so you should just move up to flyweight. Do you think she'll win? That's the bigger question. Amanda Cooper was mad, as she should.
Matt doesn't teach you jiu-jitsu. That's one thing.
See, I'm probably gonna pick Cooper to win. If you look at the people that have beat Cooper, she's 3-3, which not a great record, but it's early women's MMA. It's like 10 years ago in the UFC where guys would debut off a tough with 0-0 pro records. You can't take it that seriously. Pennington was 5-5 like 2 years ago, so you can't worry about that. But the fight themselves, she got submitted by Cynthia Calvillo, who I can promise you guys is super good at jiu-jitsu.
That was a brutal submission.
She got submitted by Tatiana Suarez, who's probably the division's best prospect, and a freestyle super decorated wrestler.
Olympic silver medalist. I think she's.
I don't think so. I think she didn't get to go to the Olympics because of injury.
Oh yeah, I'm mixing her up with someone else. She's the one. She had cancer. That's what it was.
Was it? Either way.
Yeah, she had thyroid cancer, I believe.
And the third person to submit her was Aspen Ladd, who just missed weight for that Leslie Smith fight at 135. So
Aspen Ladd's the least impressive one for me.
Yeah, that's true. And Aspen Ladd's pretty good and pretty big.
She's pretty good. The other ones I get submitting her. Getting submitted by Aspen Ladd, I'm like, I've heard great things, but the other two, it's like
it's still a 20-pound weight difference from where they're fighting right now, though. So
okay. When you say it like that,
that's 115 versus 35, and the girl missed weight at 35. So whatever middle they met at, Ladd was definitely a lot bigger,
Okay.
So basically, what I'm saying is she lost to real good grapplers that could also fight pretty well.
Yeah, Cooper's grappling. She's not a grappler. She's a boxer, right?
Yeah, I think she's pretty well rounded though. Like I've seen her in fights. She stops the takedown, gets on top, and drops elbows, and looks pretty effective. And I mean that'll work if Dern gets tired. We've all seen those stud jiu-jitsu fighters that they get a little fatigued, and suddenly their slick guard game isn't so slick, and they just kind of hold on and eat elbows for the rest of the fight. So I mean, I kind of lean towards that. I think Cooper actually gives a shit, and that's a underrated factor. But I mean, she could definitely get submitted in 2 minutes. That's the game. But
typically, the fighter that's missed weight has been winning lately, and Dern didn't even. It seemed like she didn't even try.
Yeah.
So.
But that probably means she weighs like 125 anyway. She lost like 3 pounds.
She's gonna have a size advantage. It's like, yeah. Amanda Cooper was joking earlier in the week that she was going to leave cookies outside her door in the morning, so she would wait, and then Cooper would get the 20% of the purse. I don't think she thinks it's as funny now, but
I hope that's true. I hope it wasn't a joke, and I hope she did leave cookies the whole week.
That's what did it. That's why.
Fair game,
man. You ate 8 pounds of cookies. You are impressive.
Thank you. Definitely in my skill set.
I want cookies now, man. This is mean.
So, speaking of fighters who like cookies, I'm gonna jump to. I was gonna jump to Kelvin Gastelum because he definitely likes cookies, but let's go with John Lineker.
Did he make weight?
He did make weight. 126, baby.
30, 35, 36.
All right, 136.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. John Lineker he's going to fight Brian Kelleher, which I don't know much about Brian Kelleher except that he's kind of wild and
Have you seen him fight yet?
What's that?
Have you seen him fight? Because you said you haven't seen a lot of these people. So have you seen him fight?
I have not seen Brian Kelleher fight.
Have you not seen? He's been on like main cards recently.
Dude, I only see the fights that I get paid to cover at this point.
Okay. I technically don't pay to cover any, and I still watch them all. Come on, man. Get on top. Skip the flowers. Get back to the MMA, okay?
Oh man, yeah, I need to. I'm getting DVR soon, so I'll be like going back and watching them after the fact.
Okay, fair game. I mean, he beat Renan Barão, who has looked like a shadow of his former self, but
the ghost of him.
Come on, beating Renan Barão still means something.
I mean, I don't know if it does anymore.
Tired world.
I mean, guys, even if you go look at it, his losses are still everyone he's lost to is a weight class above and in the top 5 or in this weight class. Yeah, but Kelleher's the only one, but he's someone who's had glimpses of greatness in his fights. Like,
I
he's
agree.
seen him look crazy good.
I'm not trying to talk bad on Kelleher. I think he's pretty good. I think he's well rounded. I think he takes a little too much risk, and that's going to keep getting him caught when he fights real technical guys. But he is super fun and he's good everywhere. So he's definitely like a top 15 guy.
Does he have a chin?
What's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, he's got a good chin.
Yeah. So I mean, he's never been knocked out, so that's going to be good against Lineker. And I have a feeling Lineker's been a little more hesitant lately.
Yeah.
My impression of this fight going in is that we're not going to get the crazy brawl that we're all hoping for. We're going to get Lineker, who's being a little more patient, touches Kelleher a few times. Kelleher kind of realizes, like, hey, that dude hits harder than anyone I fight, because all of Lineker's opponents realize that. And then he's going to hang back a little bit. Lineker's going to stay a little more reserved, and you just get kind of like a Lineker versus Rob Font kind of fight, where Lineker wins and dictates, but even less like offensive and madness than that bout. I think I kind of see just like a slower, not slow, but slower than everyone expects, kind of Lineker dictating the pace to a decision kind of fight.
I can see that.
Spinning back fist.
I think Kelleher could get a takedown though. So
that would be interesting, and that would definitely switch things up.
Kelleher will wrestle when he wants to, and he looked great against Yuri Alcantara on the ground, considering he tapped him out. And against Stasiak, he looked good against him.
That was a sick fight when he beat up Stasiak. He was on that night.
Yeah. So, I mean, against Stasiak isn't Lineker. But, yeah, I mean, I think he's good enough to warrant the fight, and he's good enough to potentially upset. He definitely should be the underdog, but fun fight. His record's terrible early on, but you can see there's a clear – something happened in 2014 where he, changed camps or, hit something clicked, and he just wrecked people.
I never worry about early records. Anytime you look at a guy and then they're like, I think he's won something like 10 out of his last 12 fights. Well, to me, that guy's 10-2. I don't care if he went 5-5 at the start or whatever his actual record was. It doesn't matter anymore.
It's true. I mean, and he's fought some guys that ended up being in the UFC, like Jimmy Rivera. He fought him 6 years ago. He fought a killer early on in his career. So not exactly the easiest route to get to where he's at. He's fought a couple people.
The overlooked man of the bantamweight division.
Yeah, he's fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, that'll be a good fight.
We didn't give our picks for Cooper versus.
We did not. Who are we picking? I'm picking Dern.
I went Cooper.
He's going Cooper. I'm gonna go Cooper for giggles. If it actually goes to the ground, it's over.
Dog, honestly, it shouldn't even be for giggles. She's like plus 190 or something, so it's not that
like that. I don't think she can win. No, that's not what I'm saying. Giggles that I have no idea. Because it's so close. I'm just like whatever. Because there's two ways this goes. Either Dern doesn't get her down at all and just gets destroyed on the feet, or she gets her down and completely destroys her. Because Cooper will have the worst grappling of the last 3 people Dern has fought, even though they aren't terribly high level. But I mean, in my opinion, they're the worst. I mean, she's the worst on the ground based on what I've seen. So if she does get her down, it's probably over. But if it stays on the feet, Dern's striking has been rough. You know what I mean? She wouldn't even argue with you. She'd be like, yeah, it's kind of rough. I'm going to go hit the club.
Her sentence wouldn't be that well formulated, though.
Her sentence would be even better.
It would be a little more.
The accent is gone. We've moved on. We're in a new era.
Dude, I'm not past the accent. I'm still on it.
Okay, we're back on the accent. Okay, but we got that one. We're 2 Coopers, 1 Dern. Who are we on? Kelleher and Lineker. What are we picking there?
I'm going to pick Lineker.
Yeah.
With the caveat that, he looked a little weird in his last fight. I did see that one.
Didn't he break his jaw?
Yeah,
no, that was the fight before.
Yeah,
right.
He broke his jaw. He broke his jaw against Dillashaw. He came back against Vera, and he seemed like there was flashes where he was doing Lineker things, but then there was a large portion of the fight where he seemed to be conserving energy. He said he was a little out of shape. It was his first fight back, and also when Vera got him in the clinch in the 3rd round, it was kind of worrying because it looked like Vera was landing knees to the head.
Yeah,
and he just kind of ate him.
Yeah, I mean that's John. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was kind of concerning. it looked like those hurt. Like if you get kneed in the head and then clinch, I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know what Kelleher's coming with exactly, but
I'm Team
if
Kelleher on
Lineker
this one.
faded, yeah, it could be bad for him.
I don't know. I'm just gonna pick Kelleher because I like him. I like him because he's ridiculous and he does crazy things. And his outfits on the MMA Hour are great. So
Yeah,
I'm going with him. I'm going with Kelleher. I'm leading the way there.
All right,
Who are
just
we
to
on
cut
next?
in real quick with a side note. I have the Combates stream up, and it's the main event, so that means our boys are definitely on the the dark post fight. I don't know if they stream that, but that's what's happening.
That's rough. Haters.
But Avila's the main event. He's my teammate too, so go get him, Anthony.
Get him, Avila. Get him.
All right, back to 224.
Okay, which fight are we looking at now that we've gone over those two? We do have Machida and Belfort.
Oh yeah, the old man Brazilian fight. Who are we going with?
Oh, I'm Team Machida, but she's gonna knock him out.
Oh no!
Like easy knockout.
No one's knocking anyone out.
I mean, Machida's gonna knock him out.
I really wanted to see this fight 6 years ago.
It's
like a main event.
It's gonna be ugly. I think Machida's gonna circle around, and Belfort is gonna slowly walk after him, and Machida's gonna kick him like 15 times maybe, and that'll win him the decision.
I think Belfort's gonna knock him out.
I mean, I can see Belfort showed he still had power in his last couple fights, but man, his defense looked way weird, and Machida did fought. In my opinion, he fought tougher guys and looked better in those fights than Vitor did, and his chin looked a little bit better. As bad as it looked better to me, and I think he's just a better fighter and always has been. So, Team Machida all the way here.
I
think Eric Anders would maul Vitor. Like,
yeah, that's the main thing. Eric Anders is a legit top 10, borderline top 5 middleweight. Yeah, if you don't think so, you're out of the discussion because you stopped watching MMA. Eric Anders is legit. I've trained with him, and it is scary as hell. He is scary. Okay,
that dude's athletic.
I've wrestled with him. Oh my god.
Yeah, but you're like 135 pounds.
That doesn't matter. 40 something right now, baby. I'm a buff boy. Okay. All I'm saying is this guy. I'm telling you, I've rolled with other guys that are that big and athletic. He is something else. Okay. The fact that Machida did not die in there is amazing.
I was surprised.
If Anders had just done a little bit more.
Maybe he didn't, though. That's the point. And Vitor is not Eric Anders. Eric Anders is way better than Vitor Belfort. Like, just saying right now, leagues ahead of him. Like, in terms of, like, power, speed, athleticism. Maybe not, like, some technique, but that's... I mean, neither of them are close to Machida's technique. Machida just does weird stuff. I don't know. I'm being real biased here and talking a lot. Yeah, Team Machida.
Eric Anders love, but
how do you not like Eric Anders? Have you seen him fight?
Yeah,
and he knocks everybody out.
He did knock Machida out. I mean, I don't know. He's clearly athletic, but he didn't do a lot in that fight.
Because Machida's still scary, bro. Do you want to fight Machida? I think not. Look, he's the only one that's beat him. I just realized that he ended his undefeated record.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
I don't know.
You're just hating, bro. You're hating on Machida, and I'm calling you out.
Machida is my original favorite fighter. Machida is like the reason I got into MMA.
And you're abandoning him in his retirement fight? That is harsh.
Is this his retirement fight? Is this?
I don't know. If he wins by knockout, he better damn retire. That is a glorious way to go out.
Dude, if he wins by knockout, he's going to have 6 more fights in the next 2 years.
I know, and I'm going to cry. It's going to be like feet roll over again.
Yeah.
It already was. Oh.
All right, we got everyone's picks. Let's get off this depressing fight. There's nothing to analyze here.
Yeah, this is
slow movement.
Flying triangle by Lyoto. I'm calling it.
Lyoto, my triangle.
We've got some interesting fights on this card.
So the co-main event to me is probably the most interesting fight on the card. Kelvin Gastelum versus Jacare Souza.
Yeah.
I think Gastelum is the single biggest threat to Robert Whittaker if he can get to fight him. I don't know if he's beating Jacare, though.
I agree. I mean, to a point, I think he's got the tools to be there.
I mean, basically, to beat up jumped welterweight Robert Whitaker, you got to have a welterweight speed and power, and Gastelum has that. He's extremely dangerous in the pocket. He's very quick, but his
so quick.
takedown defense
Really good.
is pretty good. But is it like Jacare good? Because Weidman was able to grab a hold of him and then put him down.
Weidman's a better wrestler than Jacare, though. So,
In terms of strict wrestling, yeah, but I feel like, I mean, Jacare did a much better job of taking down and controlling Mousasi than Weidman did. But then you have the Mousasi like parable where you just have no idea if he actually is like trying or training or anything. So
that's
knows?
true. But I mean, I think he got good takedowns on Mousasi. Again, this is a tangent. But I mean, he was controlling the headlock position on Mousasi, and that's that guillotine. And I mean, that's what ended up finishing it, right? Is that guillotine? Yeah. I mean, it was a lot of that work. And I see what you're saying. But Gastelum was able to stop a lot of Weidman's takedowns too. But I mean, I don't think this is going to the ground unless Gastelum gets rocked, gassed, or he does something stupid. Because I think he's a good enough wrestler to probably avoid it unless Jacare turns into the Terminator like he did in that last fight, which was scary. Y'all remember that? Where he just balked at the guy? Who did he even do that to? I just forgot.
Brunson.
Oh, that was disturbing to watch. That was like a deer in the woods versus a wildebeest or something. I don't know what I was watching.
That was awesome.
If he does that, I could see it. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe. If Jacare gets him down, he's going to ankle pick him. I'm calling it now. Ankle pick.
Chad Duns described Jacare taking out Brunson as like an old man who raked his yard and then noticed that one leaf blowing in the wind, so casually walked over to grab that last leaf.
It's kind of true. It was really weird to watch.
It was super cool though. I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm torn because I love Jacare. I wish he would get a title shot, but I mean, he's not going to get one against Whitaker, and he's already lost to Romero too. Although that fight was really close. If you want to talk about his wrestling, he actually took Romero down in the third round.
Yeah, his wrestling's good. I mean, I just think it's not even the Gastelum's wrestling's good. He's got the best hips in that division, I think.
I think that's kind of true, but I also feel like Weidman showed that once you like jam him into the fence,
true,
it doesn't matter that much. And I feel like Weidman also found success just clinching him and being stronger and using that to get him to the fence. And if you can do that, you have a safe entry that you don't have to duck under that 1-2, which is super hard to do. I think Jacare is just too big. I think Gastelum called it years ago when he went to middleweight the first time by accident. And he said something like, I can beat the mid-tier guys, but once I get to like Rockhold and Weidman and Jacare, they're really big and that'll be tough. And I think he was right on the money that a giant grappler like Jacare is going to hang on him, take him down. And once Jacare takes you down,
yeah, it's over. Once he gets you down, it's over.
So
the thing is, Jacare is smaller. Jacare is not a giant middleweight. That is.
I think he's pretty big, man. I don't know.
He's much smaller than Weidman. He's bigger than Kelvin, but he is much smaller than Rockhold and Weidman. I think Gastelum starches Rockhold in his current form. Just gonna throw that out there.
I mean, very possible, but aside from that,
just gonna throw. I mean, I get the big thing. Jacare's striking is really what intrigues me, though. His striking's looked way better than I thought it would look, and it keeps getting better. Like, it's weird. Weirdly good. I don't know.
Jacare is 6'1".
That's not short, but it's definitely not super tall for the weight class. I feel like most of the guys are like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, but he's like made out of marble. That dude's...
It's true. I'll give you marble.
He's man.
Fine. So my thing with Gastelum is that against Weidman, he had a lot of trouble just throwing punches. He just didn't pull the trigger. And I part of me wonders if it's a mental thing, especially when he was like the way he talks about it, like you said, Richardson, he called it himself. It makes me wonder, like, is it so much a physical thing where he just doesn't have the strength to hang with these guys, or is it like he's a little bit intimidated by it, or a little, I don't know.
I mean, even like Tim Kennedy, someone who Jacare thoroughly out-wrestled, Kennedy found success wrestling and clinching Gastelum for the whole first round. He just got super tired.
That's true.
And if Kennedy can do it, I think Jacare can probably do it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it can't happen. I just think there's a strong chance if Kelvin game plans it right, he can avoid it. And I mean, to be fair, in the Weidman fight, he wasn't throwing as many punches because he got countered a lot.
Yeah.
He did. Weidman's boxing is nothing to sleep on. And he was leg kicking a lot as well. It was a much closer striking battle than I think some people remember.
I think
Gastelum's got hands.
Like taller guys.
True.
Magny, when he fought Weidman, I don't know if it's a mental thing or not. Like, I really don't think it's a skill thing. I think he could really trouble those guys, but he seems like it like puts him in a bit of a show.
True.
I don't know.
Well, I think the Magny loss, that's like the one thing that kind of stands out. For one, it was like, a split decision, very arguable, could have went either way, whatever. But I think the thing with that was, I forget who Gastelum was originally fighting.
Brown.
Who was it?
Matt Brown.
Matt Brown, yeah, exactly. Very, very different than Neil Magny.
True.
Matt Brown does not clinch body lock you and try to take you down. So I have a feeling that played a big role in that fight. Whereas Magny, I know he's the one that accepted it on short notice, but it's kind of the thing where, like, Magny does the same thing in every single fight. Like, his goal is almost always the same. It's to long jab and double jab cross you and then get into that body lock. So Magny kind of sticks to the same thing, whereas Gastelum went from, all right, I have to outstrike a Muay Thai guy or, take him down, to, all right, I have to defend takedowns from a guy with an 80-inch reach. And that's, a pretty dramatic shift.
There's a little bit like he got Nate Diaz'd on short notice and switched up on him.
I think the end of the fight's going to be close and it's going to be fun. If it goes to the ground, it's almost definitely over. If it stays on the feet, we're going to get a crazy fight of nice power and quick speed. That's how I'm breaking this down. Expert analysis.
Yeah, all we need to know.
Boom.
I'm torn on this one.
That'd be his first submission loss if he gets submitted. That's his
No, Weidman tapped him.
Oh yeah, you're right, man. I keep forgetting he arm triangled him. Keep forgetting that. Man, that was his first.
It's making me want to pick Jacare because that's a submission he's very good at.
Yeah, he is really good at that.
He's really good at everything.
Yeah, his jiu-jitsu is just wonderful to watch.
It really is. Jacare, I don't know, man. He's awesome. Robert Whittaker's performance against Jacare was eye-opening.
Spectacular.
That was when you realize, oh, Robert Whittaker is really something special.
Yeah.
If Gastelum could turn in that kind of performance, like if he can I think keep Jacare from taking him down, if he can do the thing he did against Tim Kennedy where he lasts into the third round, and I think he'll let him up the same way Robert Whittaker did. But if he gets taken down, Jacare's top game is probably best or second best in the division.
No, it's the best.
Rockhold is pretty good too.
No, I bet you, in a pure match, I think he takes Rockhold out via submission, like in a pure jiu-jitsu match. Just
in pure jiu-jitsu, I agree, but in MMA, I would rather have Jacare on top. Rockhold just finishes everyone within like 30 seconds of getting on top. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's because he uses his ground and pound so much more effectively.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it.
I get that. I don't know. I'm just like more afraid of Jacare. Like I am more physically afraid of him. I'm not saying I'd survive any longer with Rockhold. I just am physically I'm ill when thinking about the things that because once he gets on top of you, because people have kind of survived against Rockhold a little bit longer.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Who's surviving against Rockhold?
You can point to like Musasi for surviving for 2.5
Weidman survived for a bit. Chris Weidman survived for a bit.
Weidman did not survive.
I didn't say he won the fight and he didn't get finished. What I'm saying is there was a longer.
He got finished twice.
I don't know about that. And that was a bad stoppage. Like the ref should have stopped it earlier.
Dude, he got taken down in the third off the spin kick, and Rockhold finished him right then. He literally just murdered him. Weidman was dead. And then they like dragged him to the corner and were like, "You're all right, boy, go out there again." And then he got murdered a second time.
Okay.
Just minutes apart.
All I'm saying is if Jacare fought that Weidman, he submits him in the first round. That's all I'm saying. Because that's how good I think Jacare is once he gets you down.
I don't know.
I'm biased there. Again, Jacare for life. Always for life. Jacare, Team Jacare. Except for when he fights Musasi. Luckily, that's not happening.
Rockhold and took him down and did nothing.
That's true, but that was Jacare before he really figured stuff out. I think we can all agree.
Grappler. What are you talking?
No. Strikeforce. No. This is just like Romero. Strikeforce Romero is nothing like UFC Romero. Go look at them, and there's a clear gap, and they had a very similar path. They're almost the exact same age.
Romero was like 3 fights into his career. Jacare was like 20.
Jacare only has 30 fights total.
And he's had like 7 in the UFC. How many has he had?
Like 9 or 10.
So that would put him at 20. That's the exact number I said.
Well, I mean, I think he fought most of his career there. He fought most of his career in Strikeforce. You got to give it to him. He was like 13, 14 fights in. I don't know. I just noticed when he got to the UFC, his striking changed, man. I don't know what
His striking.
you can agree or disagree. His striking got to a whole new level, and his wrestling got better. I don't know what happened. I'm not saying that he was like as green as Romero. All I'm saying is there was a shift that happened. The same thing happened to Woodley. Woodley again greener, but I mean he clearly a switch happened somewhere in there, and he learned how to box a lot better.
He learned how to conserve his energy too.
All I'm saying, guys, is don't. We remember the great wave of Strikeforce. We saw like what was it, 4 or 5 champions over a few years. Just saying, something changed.
Strikeforce was awesome.
Yeah, we're kind of like totally off tangent here because I'm fighting for the legacy of Jacare. Do not smear my beloved's name. Okay.
I like Jacare. I'm picking Jacare. How'd this become I'm anti-Jacare?
I don't know. That's how I do things in podcasts. I flip it on you. I make you feel bad about not loving him to the perfect amount.
All right, I think we know where everyone stands.
We're all Team Jacare.
I'm picking Gastelum.
Dang. Actually, I mean, I've hung out with Gastelum a couple times. He's so cool.
He seems like a really chill dude. Always reminds me slightly of like a Mexican Leo DiCaprio. I don't know why.
I don't agree there, but I don't know Leo DiCaprio. Maybe you do, and there's something there.
No, just like his face.
What? I don't see it.
I don't know. He has one of those faces. I'm like, he reminds me of Leonardo DiCaprio. Don't
I'll concede it. I mean,
really there are worse things to say about someone.
It's true. There are worse things, but he's really fun. He's incredibly talented. I can see him winning. He can knock out anyone in the division if he lands that overhand. He's so powerful. But yeah, it's gonna be that's a fight that's gonna really decide the division, I think.
Yeah, I think if Gastelum wins, like I said, he's the guy who could beat Whitaker.
He gets a title. If he wins this, he's got to get a title shot, right?
You would think.
I mean, who else would get it?
Weidman, but Gastelum is Weidman's only win, and since then Gastelum's beaten.
You mean lost?
And if he wins, he will have beaten Jacare.
But are we pretending like beating Bisping actually?
No, that didn't matter. That was just sad. But we still have Romero somewhere, right? We got Romero hiding somewhere.
Romero's fighting for the title next. So.
Oh, okay. So whoever wins that fight. Okay, we're good. Yeah, he gets the next title shot pretty clearly now.
I mean, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, Weidman needs another fight. And he just had thumb surgery. So
Weidman needs to not be the middleweight Kane because that's what it seems like is happening to me.
Yeah, he should go to light heavyweight, dude. Light heavyweight is a way more winnable division at this point.
I don't know if that's true. He's had a bad string of injuries, and that doesn't get better, you know?
Yeah, that's true. But DC's leaving. He's going to retire. So
I'm of the
Rockhold's there now. Weidman doesn't want that.
I don't know, man. I would see it again. I want Weidman without cutting as much weight. I'm down to see a rematch.
I think his power went away at some point. Like before he fought Rockhold the first time, he seemed like he hit people and hurt them.
Rockhold's a better striker than most of the people he fought before, though.
True, but I'm saying like he hit Rockhold quite a bit in that fight and didn't hurt him. But Bisping
didn't hurt him.
Punch, you know.
I mean, Bisping also gets slept on. Let's not. I mean, again, it was a freak, but let's not sleep on Bisping. Like he does have good boxing. Like
wait, I thought his Gastelum's win over him didn't count.
I mean, it counts as a win, but it doesn't count as like a win that goes, yeah, you should get a title shot.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you should get a title shot. But I mean, seeing him knock someone out.
Bisping can be champ, and that's cool, and that's in the history books. But the whole time he was champ, there were at least like 10 dudes who could have beaten him. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna pretend like, yeah, he was number 3 in the world. Like that's not the case. That's not what.
But stylistically, we know that Bisping has good boxing. Like no one can argue that he has. Everyone's like pillow fist. There's still 200+ pound dudes in the cage, and he's got good boxing. He can knock anyone out. That's all I'm saying. It's still crazy, surprising, and a wow moment of MMA. But again, Weidman, and I mean, I'll put it like this: Weidman's boxing right now looks better than Rockhold's did his last 2 or 3 fights. Like their boxings have looked worse, but I think Weidman does look better. That's all I'm saying. Because I mean, the last 2 fights or 3, he's been rocked in every fight. Like, what's going on?
Weidman?
No, Rockhold. Look at all. I mean, Branch almost finished him.
Yeah.
I mean, like you could have stopped it. You could have stopped it. Hey, we've seen worse stoppages. We've seen worse stoppages. Throw Yamasaki in there. We're getting a stoppage. That's all I'm saying.
Yamasaki will let him die.
No, Yamasaki will either let you die or he'll stop it before the fights even happen. There's two places.
There's 2 Yamasakis.
There actually are 2 Yamasakis. Like no joke.
Yamasaki, he
has a brother.
Is he the paradox, the cat in the box paradox? You don't know what Yamasaki.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's that paradox.
All right, what do you guys think of the main event tomorrow?
Nunez is gonna starch her, like like finish in like 35 seconds.
So here's my syllogism.
Have you seen Raquel fight?
Yes. I've seen like her last 7 fights, and I'm pretty confident Nunez is just demolishing her.
So either Nunez will knock her out, or Pennington will outlast her down the stretch and win.
Yeah, I can see that. Like if Nunez gasses for sure, but I don't think she's gonna last long enough.
This is one of the ones they've sparred before a lot.
I'm sure I haven't seen it, but I don't doubt you.
How does that affect it? Richardson's kind of our authority.
Richardson would know.
How does that affect fighting someone? Like when you've sparred someone that much, who? I mean, is it the superior athlete who generally ends up looking better? Is it the really tough, dogged one that Pennington is?
I mean, it's tough to say, but I would say probably the technician. You know, the person who can recognize what went wrong and change parts of their game more easily is going to be the person that can benefit from that knowledge. Because if you can't change your game, that it doesn't do anything for you. But so my take on this fight at first was real similar to yours, Pearson, in that I thought Nunez had to get the finish, or that Pennington would come by and then take over late. But I've kind of landed in that meet in the middle spot where I think that Nunez is going to do real well early and then slow down a little bit, but not enough to the point that Pennington completes the rally. I have a feeling Nunez will lose like round 3 or 4 or something like that, but it's just such a vast athleticism difference. I'm having a hard time pulling the trigger on Pennington. All that said, the odds on Pennington are way out of bounds. I think they should be a lot closer. So I think it can be a close fight.
I think Pennington at some point is going to get hurt, right? Because she's hittable.
Yep.
She's very hittable. And when Nunez is able to control her pace, right? Like you said, she did that against Shevchenko. Well, she'll slow down. She'll maybe lose a round or 2. But she's able to fight within her energy.
Well, that's the only time she's been able to do it.
Right. And what I'm saying is, like, hurt someone, all that goes out the window because she's a killer. She's got a killer instinct, and she'll go after you and try to finish you, and she'll throw a lot of energy into doing it. And if she gets the finish, great, fine. Actually, that's probably the more likely outcome. I'm picking Nunez. But if she doesn't, it could get really interesting. Especially over a 5-round fight. I don't know, man. Pennington, I think, from what I remember, has a great gas tank. She doesn't stop coming.
She's tough.
And if Nunez gets really tired, man,
I don't see that happening now. I saw the maturity in the Shevchenko fight in someone who's way better than Pennington, someone who's a far more athletic, faster pace, stronger, better athlete, better grappler. I mean, Shevchenko is way better, and she was able to keep pace. She didn't get too tired. And if she notices she's not finishing her in the first couple minutes around, she'll turn into that Nunez, and she'll just win that way.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true, though, because Shevchenko doesn't push the pace. It's not something she
didn't push it, but she kept it. She maintained a quite quick.
It was like maintaining like a slow walk. That fight, nothing happened for long portions at a time.
No one landed anything big, but Nunez, the volume wasn't that low. If maybe I'm misremembering, but I thought the volume was decently high.
I just watched this fight because I had to do whatever my stuff on Nunez.
Yeah, I haven't watched.
I remember in the 5th round they flashed up the stat, and it was like round 1, Nunes outlands Shevchenko 13-9. Round 2, 15-12. Like, it was no one got above 20 strikes per round. It was really pretty slow.
Okay, then I'm misremembering it then.
So I mean, I think it's interesting because I think you could be right, and that Nunes could manage her energy. But I also think that Pennington isn't going to make it easy to do that, and that's why initially I did side with Pennington. But it's just so hard because there is such a vast athleticism gap. But I do think Pennington matches up with her the right way. So I have a hard time in general, like in terms of my philosophy on picking fights. Anytime someone has a cardio like weakness in their game, like Nunes does, I have a hard time picking them because that's such an easy flaw to exploit if you're a smart fighter. You know, that's like a really bad weakness to have, I think.
We have one champion who has it.
I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah, and I picked against him every time. I don't know how. You know, I'm not saying my method's perfect. I'm just saying I don't like it. I refuse to support it.
Support what?
The uber athletic fighters who are fighting bursts and then have to really watch their cardio.
Oh, okay.
That was Jose Aldo
I
too.
don't trust it. I have no trust for it at all. Because at any point, like, you could get a Jake Shields performance out of Woodley, where he's like, I'm conserving energy, and then he loses 2 rounds on the feet to Jake Shields. So I just don't trust it at all.
Yeah.
Then he beats.
I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. And I was wrong about the Nunes Shevchenko fight. Though I don't see what Pennington's going to be able to offer to push the pace very often. Because she can't outstrike her. She can't outstrike her.
She might be able to. She's a good boxer.
I'm not saying her boxing's bad. Nunes is like pretty clearly the best striker in the division.
I don't know if she's even the best though. She just 1-2s people. It's not like that.
Oh, I mean, it's not. I don't. The best striker doesn't have to be the most technical. The best striker is the most effective. The most effective.
That's fair. Then on that point, I agree with you then.
Because Holly Holm on a technical end might be the most technical, but she's not at all the most effective. So I mean, I would say she's the most effective, and I just don't. I think she is technical enough to where I don't see Pennington. Maybe she just like Nick Diaz's it and just walks forward like and just risks getting knocked out. Maybe
that's pretty much what I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can see that maybe working. Whoa. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, that's what she does, doesn't she? Like that's Pennington's brand.
Yeah, she's tough and gritty and all those words.
And I feel like that would work.
Has she done it?
I
mean, anyone this big? Miesha Tate doesn't hit hard. I mean, like not this hard. Not downplaying Miesha Tate whatsoever. I mean,
Jessica Andrade, I would say, is the best comparison that you have available on her record.
She's so much smaller though.
And she
but she still hits like a tank. Andrade literally picked what's her name up like 3 times. You know how Andrade always does that single leg lift where she like picks girls up and throws them?
He was
doing it at 135. Yeah, exactly.
She dominated her. She did it to Claudia Gadelha too.
Yeah, but she did it to Pennington too. Chick's just strong. I don't think we can discount her too much.
Jessica, no, I don't think. I think she's gonna be
like my strength goal. Like I want to be able to people up the way she does.
I will put this in perspective. Pennington nearly lost to Besh Kahea.
That is a major black mark.
That is a worrying. Just keep that in mind, guys. If you can kind of barely get by her, Correa, like Correa's like the Pichu, and like Nunes is like the Raichu. You know what I mean? Like you're about to fight the big Kahuna here, like the big one. Because like they kind of fight similar in the sense that like they kind of both box and kind of bank on hitting people. But Correa doesn't knock anyone out.
But Correa pretends to hit you. She just like volume punches the air sort of near your face and never actually hits you. It's just like, I'm trying to murder you. So I do think they're different fighters.
Yeah. Man, she's had a rough go at it.
Dude, Correa somehow wins decisions against like decent people though. Like she almost beat Marion Renault, who's on like a big win streak right now. That fight ended up as a draw because Renault head kicked her in like the final 2 minutes and got a 10-8 round. Otherwise, she would have lost.
Yeah.
So Correa, despite being like so awkward and like not effective in terms of doing damage, still sort of wins fights. So
yeah,
you can't completely discount it no matter how weird it is.
Yeah, I can't discount it. All I'm saying is the records just aren't giving me good vibes for Pennington. It's not good vibes.
I'm thinking the fact that they've sparred together probably bodes better for Nunes. Because
she'll know what pace she's got to keep. That's for sure.
She's going to know how to hit her. She's going to know her habits. And I feel like if Nunes is like the one female striker besides possibly Cyborg, that if she can put her hands on you consistently, she'll probably put you away.
Yeah.
She hits really hard. Like I mean, Ronda Rousey is a really, really good athlete. And she looked, I mean, obviously she's not a good striker, but it was just the athleticism of Nunes. Like the curve of her like strength and power is, I think, the most extreme of any female fighter. Like she is insanely strong, insanely athletic, hits insanely hard, and then if she doesn't watch herself, she drops off really quickly. And then like Alexis Davis will beat her up. You know, so I don't know.
That was 7 years ago. Come on.
Oh yeah, no. To be fair, I'm talking about her just her athletic gifts.
Oh yeah.
Like purely what she can do from a physiological standpoint.
Would you guys be massively surprised if Pennington gets knocked out in like a minute?
No.
No.
I think actually that's probably the more likely outcome. She gets knocked out.
Okay. I thought you guys were like really discounting that and just saying.
I think it's unlikely.
Oh, okay.
I think this fight goes. Yeah. I think Amanda wins a decision or Pennington finishes late, and then Nunes KO early is how I would rank it in terms of likeliness.
Okay, mine's probably flipped, exactly the opposite, but I'm with you.
We both agree that Pennington winning late is the second most likely scenario.
Yeah, I mean, if she doesn't finish her, I can see that.
That's not bad for like a 10-1 underdog.
At least she's 10-1?
Is she really 10-1?
It's that big. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The odds are whack.
Yeah, that's insane, but I think she's
Nunes, you know, no matter how much she's improved, when she's gotten tired in the past, she's just completely dissolved into like a nothing. And people are way too confident that that's not going to happen again just because she fought Valentina really slowly for 25 minutes.
Whenever Nunes like crumbling, I think of Bane saying to Batman, "I wondered which would break first, your mind or your body." And for Nunes, it's always her body. Like I feel like her fighting spirit never goes, but her body just doesn't do the things anymore.
Yeah, she just stops being effective or scary or technical. It's just
it's a little bit like Hector Lombard. Like I don't think that guy ever quits in his mind, but his body just stops working at some point when he gets tired.
Yeah, I didn't know that Nunes TKO'd Durandame. That makes me even more confident considering how hard that woman is to beat.
Well, she took her down and mounted her and finished her on the ground.
No, I mean, I believe that's how she won, but I mean,
it is.
That doesn't really. I understand she has a bad grappling game generally relative because she's a kickboxer.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's so. Durandame one of those other physical monsters of that division. If you have a win over her, it's impressive. Like she scares me. I would not fight her. Legitimately would not take a fight with her. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going Team Nunes. I'm not really. I feel like there were other fights you could have made here. I would have preferred to see Andrade versus Nunes. As crazy as that sounds, I think she offers more. But maybe I'm wrong.
I think that's a questionable take.
Why?
Now,
You've seen
now,
her fight.
now
She's
that I
insane.
think about it, I want to see if Andrade can take that Nunes punch because her chin is insane.
No one can take the Nunes punch. Let's be real. No one can.
No one has even rocked Andrade, and she's gotten hit.
Ngannou did.
That's true, but that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 5 years ago.
I don't know how long it was, but she got smashed on the chin like 30 times and somehow didn't die.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So here's one for you guys. Nunes probably going to win. We're thinking at least 60-40, right? Maybe 70-30.
70-30.
I'll go 60-40. I like it.
He's really feeling Pennington.
Dude, I honestly very nearly picked her.
If Nunes wins, this sets up a potential super fight, right? With Cyborg.
Oh, I want that. Yeah, let's hope Pennington loses. Just because I want to see that is pure wildness.
I really want to see it. And also, you're right. Nunes did mount Durandame. Who are we picking? Do you think Nunes could find Cyborg's chin?
Yep,
Who hits harder?
probably Cyborg. But who's more technical? Nunes.
No, Cyborg.
I disagree.
I
At least in terms of kickboxing, Cyborg.
In the clinch, Cyborg has a distinct advantage. In pure boxing, I think it's very clearly Nunes. Cyborg's boxing has looked very questionable at times.
At times.
Sometimes it's just
years ago.
No, recently, even in her kickboxing fight with Marlos Conan, her boxing looked really, really bad.
That wasn't that recent.
That was okay. Recent. She's been fighting for 35 years. Come on, man.
Listen, you're talking about the same time when Nunes was getting choked out by like Zingano and stuff, or getting beaten up by Zingano. So you got to define recent as one period.
Hold on, let me check her record, because I mean, also Nunes is a lot younger.
Your record, bud. Oh, sorry, that's your teammate, Richardson. That was so funny.
Favorisms.
Since I were quite a bit older, she's 3-4 years older, something like that. So I mean, there's a little.
Yeah, but she's looked better. Like Cyborg's boxing is nasty. Against Holm, she looked good. Like Holm actually like landed some punches, and Cyborg said, "Okay, I guess I'll use my jab," and started jabbing and slipping and actually boxing, and she smashed her.
We have different memories of that fight, I think. I mean, I think she clearly won it, but like Holm was landing on her, like definitely
for like a round.
No, she landed every single round, but it wasn't very effective towards the end.
Like Holm really impressed me in that fight because I expected it to be way more lopsided.
Yeah,
but Cyborg. The thing is, like, I wish Cyborg would have jabbed, because when she started jabbing, like in the 5th round, she started like taking her apart. But even just throwing the counters to Holm's offense, she was picking her apart. She was getting hit, but she was landing more effectively in every exchange.
True.
So I don't know. I really want to see that super fight, though. I know it wouldn't do huge numbers at the box office.
Oh, it would do big numbers. What are you talking about?
Only because of Cyborg. I don't think Nunes is really a draw. They didn't put her over, even though she fought Miesha Tate and Ronda Rousey on like 2 million plus pay-per-views for some reason.
I get that. I mean, I'm not saying she would be the reason, but I think that she definitely is going to bring something. She's the only viable person to beat her at the moment, other than Megan Anderson, maybe.
I mean, I think Cyborg kind of, if you just look at however many pay-per-views the event versus Yana sold, I don't know what the number is, but that number is precisely what Cyborg can bring to every single pay-per-view, because it clearly showed that the opponent didn't matter at all, because they could have just made up a name and those same 200,000 people would have bought it because no one knew who Yana was. So if you just take whatever Cyborg versus Nunes gets, subtract that Cyborg number, you have your Nunes draw value.
True. You're right. I mean, I just think it's for the fans, the hardcore fans.
It's definitely a better fight.
That's the only fight that matters. Like, what other fights would, like, be honest, what fight would y'all make for either, like, separately? What's the fights y'all would make?
There's no one else for either one.
I disagree a little bit, just because I think that one Brazilian girl, Ketlin Vieira, I think she's pretty good.
But has she warranted a title shot already? I feel like she's still a couple fights away.
She's arguable. She beat McMahon and Zingano, and she's like 12-0 or something. So it wouldn't be outrageous.
True. Okay, the Zingano ones where I was like, okay, I'll with a win over her.
I would much rather see Cyborg versus Nunes right now. Just to clarify, I'm just saying in general, in terms of contenders at 135, I think she is a reasonable matchup for Nunes.
Yeah, I'll concede that. I forgot about her. I mean, I think she still loses probably, but I'll give her some credit there.
She's big and tough and has cardio, so it'd be interesting. At least she wouldn't be dwarfed by Nunes like most women are.
Yeah, she's big. I remember her being exceedingly large for the weight class. But again, I'll concede that Cyborg's boxing is great. She's one of the best, but I do think Nunes is a better pure boxer. And if she fights like she fought Holm, I could see her getting knocked out. You can't fight like that against Nunes. If she lands as much as Holm did in that first round or two, no, that's not going to work. But I mean, I assume Cyborg won't fight like that. Cyborg will fight. I just
don't think Nunes is that good of a technical boxer. I just think she's long and she knows how to throw fluid punches, and that's about it.
I don't disagree totally, but I also don't think Cyborg is as good at boxing as people say she is. She's very Thai kickboxing oriented, in my opinion. Very very like I don't know. She's like old school Thai, dude. Like Vonderlei. Like Vonderlei. Vonderlei's boxing has never been renowned as amazing.
No.
I mean, to me, she fights just like Vonderlei in a lot of ways.
He kicks more, but yeah, it's not far apart.
That's just my very biased and untechnically striking-oriented opinion. But I don't know. I'm Team Nunes. I'm biased. You'll know I'm super biased. I want Nunes to win everything.
She looks too much like Sylvester Stallone for me to root for in every fight, but I do like Nunes' game. It's just tough because I think it's so much athleticism based that I think once she fights someone like Cyborg who is equal to her in athleticism, if not better, because she's, a 45er, I think it's not going to look so pretty. It's easy to like pop off the cleanest 1-2 in the game when you're fighting Miesha Tate, and Tate very clearly wants no part of kickboxing. And I'm not trying to talk bad on Miesha. I'm sure she'd say the same thing, is that she got hit and she quickly realized, like, I don't want to ever punch with you again. And then fought like that, And same with Rousey, obviously.
And if this goes to the ground, Cyborg wins, like, no doubt. The only interesting part about it
Whoever's on top wins in that.
Well, yeah, but I just don't see Nunes taking Cyborg down at all.
Probably not.
Unless she drops her. That's theoretical. But wrestling-wise, no.
So, are we just going to, like, let it go uncommented that he just compared Amanda Nunes to Sylvester Stallone?
I didn't compare her to Sylvester Stallone.
I did. I might have. I think it's accurate.
Richard's okay. So I mean,
Joe, are you pulling a Joe Rogan here?
Leo DiCaprio, and you just compared Amanda Nunes to Sylvester Stallone.
And that's not even like an anti-Nunes thing, because I think at this point, after plastic surgery, Stallone has kind of like a unique appearance. And yeah, it's just, I think there are similarities there in my mind.
Unique appearance.
I look just like Tisha Torres, and I'm going to stick with that one. Okay, she is my twin. Don't argue. We're besties.
I don't know, man.
Isn't she married to Pennington? Am I tripping right now?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Dating, yeah.
I knew it. Okay, that's where I was like, and Josh fought her, didn't she? And then I just circled it all together. I'm a genius. Thank you.
You have the MMA dating down.
Boom. I had the jiu-jitsu dating, and now this. I mean, and I'll be honest, there's some really crazy fights on this card that aren't even on the main card. I think it's pretty stacked.
So, speaking of featherweights, we're going to talk about Yair Rodriguez in a moment, but I'm going to keep run through these obscure fights and just like real quick, tell us why you're excited about them.
I mean, me?
Yeah.
I mean, y'all know about Davi Ramos and Nick Hine. That is going to be a barn burner. I mean, we've got ADCC champion versus one of the most stout power punchers of the division in Nick Hine, who's a judo black belt. That is going to be wild. I have no idea what to think about that fight.
I think we got, just for an update, I think Bulldog is now fighting on the Combate Facebook page. It looks like round 1 just ended. We're finally there, boys.
Hold on, we have podcast. We are going to continue, but I'm going to find this Facebook because I thought we'd lost all hope.
Dude, I thought so too. And then I asked.
This looks like him.
Yeah, it is. I asked a dude, NorCal Fight MMA, who covers all the local shows. Dude, that guy is always at every Northern California MMA event. I asked him on Twitter if it was streaming. He's like, it's on Facebook. And I had just checked like a minute earlier, and it wasn't. And then there it was. So he knew way better than me.
So there you go.
Our boy's up.
We got body kick. No. Okay, he's fine.
On my stream, he's... Oh, is it a replay?
Yeah, it's a replay. I didn't see the first round at all.
Me neither.
That's not very significant. It looks like he just stood right back up.
Yeah. It was just like a sidekick kind of deal.
Like, oh, there's a sidekick. Highlight that one.
Sidekicks are cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, guys. Again, jiu-jitsu nerd here. Pure jiu-jitsu nerd. Anytime Davi Ramos fights, it's intense. Like, he either goes out fighting like a wild like Shogun without the like technique of Shogun power wise, or he jiu-jitsu someone hardcore, like, and he outclasses them like Jacare level. So I mean, if you're not excited to see that, I mean, I guess it's not the highest level MMA, but Davi Ramos has potential to be champion one day. With his jiu-jitsu is debatably the best in the division. Gilbert Burns being probably the only other person who could contend in a pure jiu-jitsu match.
I mean, that's the same division.
Of what? You broke up there.
Oh, I said off the top of my head, I'm with you.
Yeah. What'd you say, Pearson?
I was going to say that's the division Khabib Nurmagomedov is champion of, right?
Yeah, I mean, in a pure I was kind of thinking guard for guard. Ooh, that was bad. Yeah, I mean, I could see Khabib easily like just sitting and like half guarding and just mauling them to death, or maybe like pointing them. But Gilbert, like I'm thinking like dynamic submission, like Ortega wise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking they're the two best, pretty clearly, considering they're both the jiu-jitsu world champions. But yeah, we got a heavyweight. We got Olenek. Anytime Olenek fights, a mounted Ezekiel is an option. So if you're not excited for that,
fighting the giant baby who's not wearing his diaper this time out, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not excited for an Olenek fight, I mean, are you really an MMA fan? Like, all of his fights end in chaos. Like, he's submitted a guy from Mount, dude.
I have a feeling this one ends in just clinch.
I love Junior Albini, though, too.
Dude, his hands look good in his debut.
Yeah,
he looks fast for a giant baby creature.
Andrei Arlovski hit him with like everything he had, and he just like shrugged.
It's true. I don't know. I'm just excited because I know chaos. I know chaos is coming in Olenek. If he gets rocked, he's gonna submit you with some like wrist lock, doing a backflip. I don't know. Something's gonna happen.
It'll be cool, or it'll be boring. It's heavyweight. It'll be awesome, or it'll be boring.
I mean, Olenek, I've never seen him in a boring fight. So I mean, either he gets starched or he does some wild stuff and comes back and beats you.
I remember the Omi Lanchuk one was kind of slow, but on the whole, I agree with you.
I think you do have the one example that is Omi Lanchuk fights. Nothing against you, Mr. Omi Lanchuk, but I think your fights have been a little rough.
Not known for pushing the action.
Him like directly as if he listens to this podcast.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm totally gonna kill you. I mean, Cesar Ferreira's fight. Anytime he fights, it's ridiculous. He finds a way to lose, or he starches people. There's really no middle ground for him either. He's
a really explosive athlete. I remember when I thought he was the second coming of Vitor Belfort.
He is clearly. He just skipped all the really dominant parts, and just getting knocked out.
That's a great description for a fighter. Vitor without the dominant parts.
Well, I'll be honest. It feels like they groomed him so much that he probably had so many gym wars they beat the greatness out of him or something.
That's very possible.
And you see glimpses of his quality that they saw because when his jiu-jitsu's on, and when he's when he's really moving in there, he does look ferocious.
So
he'll get touched and then he'll just go like a sandbag. So
he actually fought Andrew Highlight Craig, who used to train out of the gym I used to train out of, Team Took.
Yeah.
And he, at one point, I saw that fight. I think that was in Austin, and I saw that one live. And he picked him up and spun him around his head like a top, and then dumped him on his back. He's very explosive. So yeah, it can be exciting. He's just inconsistent.
Yeah, he's really inconsistent, man. I forgot what happened to Andrew Craig. He just retired, it seems.
Yeah.
I don't think he officially said anything. I know he's working on it, from what I can tell.
Oh, is he? Yeah, that makes sense.
He's at all the On It Invitationals. Good for him. Hey, dog, what's up? Who are you picking in the main event?
Man, my dog was whining earlier, so I made her go sit down.
My dogs are sleeping, so it's okay.
This guy Coin is fighting. He looks like a Taekwondo guy?
Yeah, he's weird. He throws a lot of lead leg kicks. I scouted him a little bit, but I had a tough time finding footage.
Yeah. Is that often the case for regional MMA?
It depends. Some people have all their stuff on YouTube, and some people just rely on the promotions, in which case depends on the promotion. So in his, I could find his amateur fights from 2014, but I don't want to watch that. That doesn't help anything. You don't want to base your plan off what a guy looked like 3 years ago.
That's true. This guy looks a lot bigger and a lot older.
Yeah, he's 35.
Yeah, you can see there's quite a big size difference. What weight class is Coin doing here?
It's a 140 catch weight.
Oh, okay, that's why. That's this guy's the big one that couldn't make the weight.
Yeah, I don't know what the whole deal is. I think it was just because it was short notice. This card kind of came together
late notice.
Yeah.
Oh, he took his back. Oh, that was gangster. Sorry, podcast. This is like really cool.
Yeah,
Very important stuff.
Coin like spun him around with a butterfly guard and.
Yeah, it was an X guard. Nice.
Oh,
I'm like 5 seconds behind you guys.
Okay.
But I'm not. I'm not upset. I'll take good news.
Yeah, that was good news. I mean, the bottom 3 fights. I mean, Talis Leites. I'm probably saying that wrong, but Jack. Again, I said this earlier. That is going to be a fun fight. Jack Hermanson has a strong chance of just knocking him out on the feet. Not because Leites is knockoutable easily, but his striking is quite a bit better from what I can tell. And his wrestling's pretty good. But Leites, if he gets you on the ground, pretty rough stuff. Anytime Wareli Alves fights, it's going to be chaos. And he's fighting Sultan Aliyev.
Oh, yeah.
His grappling's really good. He's got great sambo. He's a sambo world champion, I believe. But his chin is just not there. He's been starched a couple times, I believe. And against Wareli Alves, that's a bad sign.
Worley is awesome, and his name is awesome, too.
He beat Colby Covington, so I'm always a fan.
Oh, yes. Anyone who beats Colby Covington is automatically.
Yeah. I've never seen Marcus Perez, but he's fighting Bocinovic. And I know Albert Mina. He's looked pretty good, but I don't know who. Oh my gosh, I do. Oh, dude, Ramzan Ameev is scary. I forgot about him. Ooh.
Is he? I only saw his fight with Alvey, and that was kind of just like he pushed him against the fence.
No, I know. I mean, he's scary. Like, I mean, not that fight. From what I remember when I was researching him before that fight, he looked really scary. Alvey's, I guess, pushed out of him or something, but I remember seeing his highlight reel, and it was super intense. I mean, he Bravo choked Michael Falcao. Wow. That's
legit.
Yeah. Maybe I'm mixing up. There's a couple Russians that have recently come into the UFC, and I can't keep up with all their names. So I could be mixing him up with another guy, even though I just did a video on Russians and MMA, but he is not in that list. That's how many we have now.
Which is good. It's a big country. A lot of very talented combat athletes.
Yeah, but I mean, we've just signed like half a dozen in the last 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
We already had a big chunk, but I mean, I'm not good with all their names. I'm better than the average person. I understand they're all from the North Caucasus region. You know what I mean? They're all those mountain men. They're dangerous.
Yeah, the North Caucasus is a special breed. They're
not the same kind of humans, man. They're not the same kind of humans.
Speaking of guys who are have like a different set of skills, why was Yair Rodriguez cut? Am I the only one who thinks like there's more to this story?
Nah, Dana White just has a personal vendetta against people.
Does he? That
one didn't make any sense because they were really pushing Yair to be like the face of the UFC in Mexico.
They did that to Goyito too, which made me sad. Well, I mean, I think he just got a better deal from Combate.
I mean, yeah, if you can get a better deal in this sport, you might as well take it.
I mean, he gets to fight people that are probably a good bit worse than him. He gets to be the face of the company. He's probably getting paid at least the same, if not more. Yeah. So I mean, I would do that in a heartbeat. And he still gets to commentate UFC in Spanish.
Does he?
If I'm not mistaken, he does. I don't watch the broadcast, but he.
I mean, I don't either. That's why I didn't know that at all.
I'm friends with Victor, the guy who does it. He's Eddie Bravo's black belt. He's been doing it for years, and I'm pretty sure him and Verdum are still doing it. Because Verdum did some pretty messed up stuff and was still able to do it.
I wish I could find Verdum, man, but
I know they brought in the one guy. I think he's from not Peru. I just forgot his name. He was on Tough Latin America. Chico, I think his name is. He's been doing a lot of casting.
Cheeto Vera? Yeah, Cheeto Vera.
Yeah. I forgot where he's from, but it's somewhere in Central or South America. And he's doing really well, from what I can tell. I don't speak Spanish, but I'm hearing they like him. I think that's Josh Rosenthal in the back of Combate Americas. Anyone?
Yeah, he's been there all night.
Okay, just noticed him, and I think Coin's about to get the submission win right here.
I hope so.
Yes, bind onto his back.
I mean, if he submits him right here, Coin's going to the UFC right now.
Still a couple years, but hopefully.
I mean, this year would be fine.
I mean, I wouldn't be sad.
Yeah, I think going through the most card. I think it's without the couple main event fights, this kind of looks like a Fox card, but it's a fun card.
What are we thinking about Bellator 199?
Oh yeah, we should go to that.
You have to tell me who's on it first, and then I can tell
Brian
you what
Bader,
Ryan Bader.
Muhammad Lawal.
Oh, Bader, look easy.
Yeah, probably.
For sure. What
Bader
is
went
what
the whole
happened
thing.
with Mo Lawal's career? Like I don't understand.
Bader's look better every year. He just keeps getting better.
King Mo just took weird fights and made a lot of money. That's what I think happened.
I mean, more power to him, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
at one point, he was supposed to be like the next big thing in light heavyweight.
And then knee injuries.
Uh,
Ooh, Bulldogs, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
We got Aaron Pico's fighting. Guys fighting
Good.
doesn't matter. Has Aaron Pico ever trained at Team Alpha Male?
Not that I know of.
He should. That would be a great fit.
I think he's with Dillashaw in SoCal.
Oh, is he?
So that seems
Dillashaw's
unlikely.
in SoCal? What?
Yeah.
I thought he was in Colorado.
No.
Oh, did they move Dwayne? Did Dwayne move? I heard something about Dwayne moving.
I have no idea where Dwayne is, but I know TJ is down at Rain Training Center.
What? So all that trauma just to end up at Rain Training Center.
Dude. Things get weird, man.
But it's like, okay, I mean, I can't speak on it. I don't know. That seems weird.
He's training with Coach Swanson.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for another body shot KO from Aaron Pico.
That'd be cool. That last one was sweet.
Rib smashing KO. Yeah. The guy who's fighting was not good, but it was pretty awesome. But what do we think of? Okay, here's a great question to ask. What do we think of Darren Till lighting up his training partner this past week?
I mean, it looked unnecessary.
I mean, we've seen everyone do that already. So
I mean, is that like how unusual is that?
There's lots of videos of John Jones doing it. So
normally you only see, I mean, at least at Alpha Male, you only see that kind of thing in one or two situations, which is if a guy like really tries to turn it up on one of the UFC guys, in which case it doesn't normally end well for them. And that's their own problem. And then there are also guys that just like when they're within like a week or two of their fights, they're going to get real intense and every sparring session is going to be super hard. But if you just know, don't go with them, and they wouldn't go with a guy on a low level amateur like that guy looked to be. They're going to go hard with other high level guys. It's not going to be whatever that was.
Till said it was good back and forth, and then like at the end, I think the guy might have been getting tired or something, and
which could be true, but I don't know. Don't show just the highlights of you beating up some hapless idiot if you don't want to get called out for beating up some dude who doesn't train. Show that he's a real fighter if you want it to look that way.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
He did post like an old video of him getting clipped, and was like, "Oh, I show both sides." But yeah, I mean, is that kind of thing gonna help him against Thompson? Does like just letting loose in training, does that actually help you in the fight?
I mean, it's good you definitely want to build confidence by winning rounds, but you can win rounds going 70% and not trying to smash the guy too. Like you want to have some rounds in a fight camp that you win. You don't want to get your ass kicked 10 days out from a fight by better guys and then be like, yeah, I'm really ready. Like that's not going to get you primed for success. So you definitely want to have some level of, all right, I did what I wanted to that round. Like my game plan can work. If you spend 8 weeks shooting for a double leg and don't land it once, you're probably not going to shoot for it in the fight. So it's just kind of, you definitely want success, but it was just a little much. But I don't know the backstory, so without actually being there and knowing the context, it's hard to say for sure. But it definitely looked extra.
Yeah, it did. But I mean, people do it a lot.
Yeah,
I didn't know he only sent that clip alone. That's why I might shift sides. I just remember John Jones like posting highlights of him knocking out like training partners a lot or something. Do y'all remember?
I remember that. Yeah, when he was powerlifting.
Yeah, like you just knock out these random heavyweights, and it was.
It's like, cool, dude. We know you're good.
Yeah, that was kind of awkward.
John Jones knocked my coach out once, my old coach, who was a featherweight, John Franchi, but it wasn't in a fight. He just was arguing with him and then sucker punched him.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
And yet it's not that hard to believe.
Yeah.
Considering he's a featherweight.
I ever since I lived in upstate New York, I've been pretty biased against John Jones because my coaches really didn't like the guy.
But I mean, could they deadlift 700 pounds, natty? You know what I mean? Could they?
I don't know. John Franchi was a pretty strong dude. For a guy who fought at 145, he was scary. But
I mean, that was good. I don't think John Jones can even deadlift 700 pounds. If he can, wow. I'm just gonna say that right now. Wow.
I don't think.
It's not that big a feat though to deadlift 700 pounds. I mean, it is when you're John Jones's height, the length of his limbs.
I feel like 700 deadlift is really intense.
The guys at my powerlifting gym that do it, and they don't even.
Yeah, real powerlifters live in a different world than.
Yeah, I don't lift any weights, so I'm in a different world. I do pull-ups. Okay.
You've told me that before. Pull-ups. By the way, a lot of grapplers do a lot of pull-ups. Apparently, Chris Weidman's can do 30 of them in a row.
Considering how big he is, that is more impressive than deadlifting 700 pounds.
Yeah. Jake Ellenberger can too. They're having a conversation.
He's a little smaller, but I'll still give him credit considering he's probably 200 pounds doing fights.
Probably.
I just know Weidman is a legit heavyweight. If Weidman wanted to be a heavyweight, he could be a heavyweight.
Here's my hot take of the evening. I don't think there should be a middleweight division. I think this should be rolled in with light heavyweight. Because those guys cut from 220 anyway, most of them.
I think there should be a 195, actually. I'll disagree there. But I did just make a video on why we need a 165-pound weight class and that 170 should move to 175.
I agree.
And I think that would be the biggest and best change MMA could make right now outside of straight up banning weight cutting. But yeah. Yeah, that's going to happen. And Khabib's going to be the champion of both that and 155. So get ready, boys.
Gaston Bolanos is also fighting on Bellator. He's headlining the prelims for Bellator 199. He's the spinning elbow king.
He comes and trains with us sometimes, actually.
Does he?
Yeah, every once in a while.
Have you ever trained with him, sparred with him?
Not personally.
Where would I know him from? What would I know?
Spinning elbowed someone in Bellator 6 months ago, and it was everywhere.
Oh yeah, okay, now I know what you're talking about.
He has I think 6 or 7 spinning elbow knockouts.
That's wild.
He only has 3 fights.
Oh, I'm talking about in kickboxing, across combat.
Oh, okay. I was about to say he's only got 3 fights and one of them's getting submitted. So what?
He's a really good Muay Thai guy.
Oh, okay, that's where his base is. Okay, makes more sense now.
Yeah, so he fights Muay Thai, kickboxing, and MMA. Yeah, so he's on the card, and then the co-main event is John Fitch versus Paul Daly, which is one of the 2 true outcomes fights that the Heavy Hands podcast talks about sometimes. Is it either Fitch does his thing or Paul Daly knocks him out?
Pretty much. I mean, what's there to? What else can you say?
Yeah, if Paul Daly wins, he's got to fight Venom Page. He's got to fight him.
I don't know who's to blame for that, but they keep trying to make that fight, and it won't happen.
You know what I bet it is? I mean, maybe it's Daly being a little greedy, but I bet you Bellator is not willing to pay him. I bet you they're being cheap.
Someone's being cheap or someone's being expensive. But either way, yeah, I'm sure it's money.
I mean, I have no idea. Yeah, I'd assume it's Bellator being cheap just based on what I've heard. Some people are getting paid that went over there. I mean, we know Rory's getting paid. Rory's getting some sweet cash, but that's Rory. Most of the other guys aren't getting that sweet cash, and Bellator's not giving the sweetest of deals from what I've heard. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Doesn't one of Rory's sponsors pay him in Bitcoin?
Yeah, he got $250,000 in. It wasn't Bitcoin.
It was a different crypto. Yeah,
but he probably just liquidated it pretty quickly.
Which one did they pay him in?
I don't remember.
I think.
Yeah, Dashcoin. Dashcoin. That's what it was. Yeah, I mean, I would take that. I would take 200 grand in Dashcoin.
Yeah, I'll take 200 grand in anything you guys want to give me.
Yeah, any coin you want to give them.
I'll take it in Russian blood money. Which guy is paying that out to random fighters? What's up?
I mean, we
and Gadirov.
We know which guys are doing that. You want to go to Russia? We got some guys. That guy that got arrested that was giving Khabib BMWs.
I'll take that guy.
That guy's in jail now. He was just dropping 80 grand, $100,000 cars on Russians.
I'll send him MMA memes, whatever he wants to do. We can hang out.
Say you're Russian. Get a 23andMe and just I'm 100% Russian in America.
I mean, look at me. I'll grow the little, the hair right here. I can be Dagestani. Fine.
I believe in you. Learn a little Russian. I'll send you to the stuff.
We back in the early days of the podcast, AJ and I interviewed Phil Daru, the ATT strength and conditioning guy.
Yeah.
He went over and did a bunch of strength training for the ACB combat athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like those guys already know everything about strength and conditioning, but
Probably.
apparently he's able to teach them some things.
I mean, I like his stuff because every time I see one of his Instagram videos on the Midnight Mania, it's always like him doing stuff that I've done with my strength coach. It just always cracks me up because he describes it in like the most extreme way possible. Like a dude will be doing like single leg hops and he'll be like, explosive lateral movement, like all this stuff. I mean, he's jumping. It's a good exercise and it's got a point, but it just cracks me up. I mean, he's marketing. It's smart.
Working the posterior chain for superior hypertrophy over
all that.
Yeah, he knows all the language.
Dude, like my strength coach is one of the smartest guys I know, and he just never says anything to me, so I don't hear these words most of the time. Like if I ever actually ask him to explain, it's either like I'll be like, all right, like what's up with my squat, and he'll be like, don't be a bitch. I'll be like, all right, like, that helped. Or he'll explain it in such depth that I have no idea what he's talking about. So really, I've learned nothing, but I know that he's leading me in the right direction most of the time. So it's funny to see Daru, like, I'll be like, oh, I've heard pieces of those words when my coach has tried to explain something to me.
Probably why he doesn't bother now. Because, like, it's one of those things where you need a dictionary every fifth word.
I need to write it down and then look it all up later.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I tried to have a conversation with him, and I was like, okay, so wait a second. That means this? Like, trying to translate into ordinary person speak.
Yeah.
I missed the end of that fight. How did it go?
I think he lost the decision.
Yeah, he lost the decision. We cried inside together.
I held it together a little bit.
Impressive, really.
Did you guys see this week's Ultimate Fighter?
What's up?
Did you guys see the Ultimate Fighter this week?
I did not, actually.
How has that been going? I make it a point never to watch that.
The fighters are good.
I've been watching it actually this season for the first time in a while just because my buddy's on it, but I haven't seen this week's yet.
Yeah, your buddy's going to win it, I think.
Which buddy?
I mean, you might already know and you can't say, or he...
I mean, I don't know anything, but I said he'd win it before he went out there, so I'm just going to stick with that.
Who is it?
Tyler Diamond. He's from my team. He made his professional debut and started training, like, he'd been training Alpha Male, like, for summers for college and stuff, but he started training full time and had his pro debut like a month after I moved out there. So it's been cool to watch him, build up a record, win a local title, and now go out and do tough. He's a stud.
Yeah, based on the footage I've seen of everyone that I could get good footage on, he's pretty clearly the best wrestler. Like,
dude, that guy.
I could tell.
I roll with him.
And
his top pressure is tough, man. Like, I'll get in like a good position on a half guard sweep or like X, and he's just so heavy from top position. Like, and obviously he's bigger than me, but still, I roll with guys his size that I can sweep, and that dude's good. He's good everywhere.
He's definitely special. There's a few guys that look also good, like Bryce Mitchell. That kid, I've been watching him since the Thug Nasty days on World Series of Fighting. And he's one of those people that someone needs to convince him to go to another gym. Not because his gym's bad, right? But he's training in a gym that is more of a local gym, I guess, for somewhere in Arkansas. This guy needs to be on one of the coasts, like at a Team Alpha Male, because you can see the talent in him. Mm-hmm. And if someone sculpts him, this kid could be a champion, like legit UFC champion. And I don't know who taught him to wrestle, dude. He says he didn't wrestle, I think. But he hits double legs like they're nothing.
You know who's? I'm going to drop. This is semi-unrelated, but I'm going to drop it in.
It's about your Pokemon card collection because it's a sick collection.
It's not, but
Dang
it is.
Your record collection?
No, Pokemon. But he also has a sick record collection too.
Yeah. But what's it called? We have a guy at Alpha Male. I'm gonna mess up his name because I'm bad at these things. But Yadong Song, he made his UFC debut, I think, like 6 months ago on one of those like 2 a.m. China cards.
Yeah.
And that dude's young and hasn't wrestled and still like is super good. Like stands up like with our good wrestlers pretty well. He's just a real good athlete and picks up on things fast. So I would say for like people listening to this that want to make some money, at some point, no one knows about him. He'll be an underdog or something. He's gonna be good. So watch out for that guy.
Yeah, let me know when he fights.
After
my draft.
I'll try to look up and see if he has one booked. I have no idea.
The boy Yadong Song.
Because
I think I remember him. Because I was in Singapore when he fought.
Oh yeah, you were shooting that thing for one. Wait, no, you were supposed to be shooting.
We don't talk about that anymore. I don't
He's
think they
fighting
like
Felipe Aranches
that's
in like a month and a half.
I feel like I know that name, Felipe Aranches.
Yeah, he's the one that they kicked out of the UFC because they thought he was faking a loss, right?
I didn't know that, but I know he fought.
No, it's different guy
from my team.
Different guy.
Yeah. Felipe Aranches is good, but he lost to Emmett last time out.
He wears a cowboy hat. He
does. Yep.
He's like a little cowboy, little Brazilian cowboy.
Yeah, there's little cowboy, there's Brazilian cowboy, and then there's OG Donald Cerrone cowboy.
Yeah.
Oh,
who was taking his pregnant fiance? Wake surfing.
I didn't watch the video. Are they literally on a surfboard, like doing this? Because that's real light. Like I could see doing that. But if they're wakeboarding, that shit's intense. And like I've smacked my head wakeboarding, like hit it on the water. That'll buzz you a little bit. I wouldn't do that pregnant. But wake surfing, you're probably fine if it's what I think it is.
No, they were straight up. I mean, it was wake surfing because their feet aren't locked in. I think that's the difference. I had to look it up.
Okay. If it's on like a surfboard and they're right next to the boat, how that works, I know this because my girlfriend is a boat dork. She like grew up on a boat and taught me all these boat things that I didn't know. So I learned this. But so wake surfing, the boat spins in a circle and it's weighted weird so that you go pretty slow and it creates a big wave for you to ride on the surfboard. And that's so slow that like when you fall, you pretty much just sink into the water. You just kind of lose traction. I think so that I could see doing, but wakeboarding is hella intense.
So she was
mess you up.
They were together on the board, and like you can see the boat starting up, and they do the thing where you squat against the board and to get standing up, and then they were riding on the wave, but it's still holding onto the rope behind the boat. And then apparently she did it on her own later because there's also like a picture. That's the only one there's a video of, but there's a picture of her on the board. So, I mean, I feel like it just seems like she's very pregnant, like last trimester.
I'm watching the video right now. Yeah, it's what I think it is. It's
go into labor.
It's a lot safer than like most water things because you are going slow and it's real hard to collapse epically. But I mean, yeah, she is pretty pregnant, so I see your point also.
Just hope the baby enjoyed the ride.
Baby was having fun, man. Just let the baby chill.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think we've pretty much actually gone through most of the Midnight Mania articles from this week. I had a lot of weird ones.
We covered fights, weirdness, combates. We got it all, I think. I think we got everything we can cover.
So yeah, the tonight's was Mike Perry deciding he can legally say the N-word because he's 2% African.
Yeah, I don't think Perry can say it because he's 2% African. I think Perry can do whatever he wants because he lives in his own reality that's completely separate from ours.
He does. That's very true. Mike Perry's his world is. I don't want to go there.
I'm just grateful that we get a glimpse into it.
He's a wild man.
Someone was wondering if he does that in front of John Jones. I don't know if John Jones cares though.
Dude, I feel like, I mean, if you grow up in like athlete world, like wrestling and stuff, you're gonna hear. If you play football or you wrestle, you're gonna hear horrible, horrible things in locker rooms and teammates and stuff. I feel like John would not be the least bit surprised that some white dude from Flint, Michigan, is throwing around the N-word. Like, I'm sure he's thoroughly unbothered. I mean, it's not.
I have no idea.
Not something you should do, but it's something that happens, and I feel like I don't know, man. Perry's.
I would watch that fight. I would pay to watch that fight.
John Jones versus Mike Perry.
Mike Perry hits hard enough to where I'm interested. You know what I mean?
If it's a boxing match, I'd watch it.
I mean, even in MMA, I know he's going to get taken down, probably get destroyed. But you know what? I'll still watch it. I think it's more competitive than some other fights.
I hope Mike Perry actually gets his act together. His usage of the N-word notwithstanding, he's a very talented guy.
I mean, the stuff I heard about his dad made me sad. You can tell that dude did not have.
I mean, I feel like I don't know
positive
entirely what Perry has gone through, with his life and childhood and everything. But from, the little hints and stuff, it seems like he turned out a lot better than he has any right to,
Yeah, he turned
Like,
out
he
way
says
better.
stupid things, and and even then, it seems like it comes from a place of dumb, not a place of like he hates, he has hatred. It's just dumb, and
He doesn't seem like he hates anybody.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's just it could have been a lot worse. Like Perry could be in Florida prison for like stabbing someone while high on a
Florida prison.
assortment of drugs, and
Yeah.
instead, like he just says bad words on Instagram, and like end of the day, that's a net gain.
yeah, he could be like a serious problem in the Florida crime system right now.
Yeah, and if you take away Perry's like UFC, like if you get mad and try to punish him, then you're reintroducing that possibility of Perry stabbing people in Southern Florida, and I think we all would like to avoid that.
Yeah, I think we all would. I don't know. The interview with Ariel was sad.
It was like 2 months before he was in the UFC. He got out of jail or something, or straight to MMA.
I think it was before the UFC. I think it was like a couple years, but he was still on probation, so it can't have been that long.
Yeah, I think it was before the UFC. But his story about his dad, like how that his relationship with his dad is weird. It is weird.
I didn't hear that. Do you want to share?
I mean, it was talking about like how his dad would like come and sleep on the floor in his hotel rooms and stuff. It was there's some things where it's like clearly there's a weird relationship and he doesn't. It's like he loves his dad, but there's like a respect thing, and he like abandoned him. I don't know, man. I can only empathize with someone like that. That didn't happen.
I think I said it the last podcast. You get a lot of weird with MMA. You get outsiders from all areas, so that's why you have someone like Perry who can do something like say the N-word on Instagram, and it's not. I'm not defending it. I'm not saying it's something he should do. It's something he shouldn't do, but you just kind of have to roll with it a little bit just because it's MMA and it's always going to draw that weird fringe of like, if this dude wasn't fighting, he'd be in prison. And it's probably good that he's in fighting and, making money and
gainfully employed,
causing trouble for the general public.
I will concede that point. I mean, he does need to stop saying the N-word.
I'm fully on board with him not saying that.
It's just that I can
not
see
my position.
he is like a big example of like nurture and nature. I'm like, man, if that dude got some real love when he was a baby, I mean, this guy could. I mean, he seems like a crazy athlete. He could be like, he already got here with just like being tough, working his ass off. I mean, he didn't wrestle, and he's got really good wrestling. I don't know where that. It's just Detroit. Something's in that water. Wink, wink. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Flint still doesn't have clean water.
Yeah, that was the joke. But you know what I mean? Like, if this guy had like a really like supportive like family, there's only the sky's the limit for how far he's gotten on just like abusive parents and like whatever happened, man. I don't know. Go watch the Ariel Helwani interview.
I guess that's another thing. How much Flint water do you have to drink before you're allowed to say anything you want with no consequence?
True.
So I feel like there is an amount where you should be able to be like, whatever crazy, ridiculous, racist view you have, it's like, yeah, well, he drank 17 gallons of Flint water in the last 48 hours. Like, let him be.
Yeah. How much Flint water equals a Mike Perry?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, go watch the interview. Trust me, you won't regret it. Actually, you might regret it. It made me sad. So
go watch the Mike Perry Ariel Helwani interview if you want to be sad, because it's good.
Good stories, though. There's some.
Absolutely. I have something to recommend too. Frank Mir testified in a case recently where a police officer choked someone who ended up dying, which is kind of sad. It gave me the opportunity to link to the best article I've read all year, which is The Spy Who Came Home on the New Yorker. So check out the second to last Midnight Mania. That's a great article. Everyone should read it.
What's it about?
It was about a CIA officer who managed assets in Iraq and abroad, and came home to be a beat cop in Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, and it's amazing.
Cool.
I will give that a look.
Yeah.
Again, if you will, a peek.
Are we finishing this thing on the Perry point, fellas?
I think that's it.
Perry.
Nowhere to go but down.
All I'm saying is Tyler Perry and Mike Perry need to be friends. That'd be a great sitcom.
Mike Perry would fit in perfectly on a sitcom like The Office.
I'm down for it.
If you put Perry into the Diversity Day episode where Michael keeps quoting the Chris Rock skit,
I just read that like 2 days ago.
he'd be right there. You don't even have to edit the script.
Just bleep.
I'm down for it.
Oh man. All right, guys.
Good night. Enjoy the fights tomorrow.
Sweet dreams, guys. Sweet dreams.
Peace, fellas.
Do as Mike Perry does, not as he says.
Live that real lifestyle.
I like it.
All right. Good night.
Peace, guys.